Fresh 102.7.
It's Fresh 102.7. Trey and Gia joined by Ellie Goulding. Hi.
Hello.
It's so good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations, you have a new single out.
Finally, yeah.
How long have you been working on this one?
Well, the album's kind of been a year and a half in the making, but this song was quite a few months back. It's after Love Me Like I Do when I'd worked with Max, and then we got back in the studio, and this is the first song that sort of came out of it.
Yeah, and you say his name so casually, but he's one of the biggest producers on earth, Max Martin.
Yeah.
What was it like?
But when you
working
meet
with
him, you're just like, oh, hiya. Like, he's so normal and, like, just, like, funny and cool, and, yeah. He's very humble. He's very, very humble.
And the song is called On My Mind, and I read something that you didn't want to write love songs for this album coming out, but then a lot of them just kind of poured out of you.
I can't help it. I just really... Sorry, something happened to my neck just a second ago. Right, I think it's better now. Like, I was like, ow! I don't know what happened. Yeah, I mean, I just can't help it. It's just, I've just decided that's just what I want to write about. And, I mean, like, I don't know, in the past couple of years, certain things have started affecting me more. Like, I think I'm finding out more and more things about the world that I don't agree with, and I think that's a social media, and you can't really hide from anything, and nothing can be hidden from you anymore. So you know, with that in mind, I thought, oh, maybe I'll start writing, you know, a bit more kind of politically, and start talking about things, being a bit more of a protester in my music. But then that was never this album. That was never going to be this album. I always wanted to make something that would finally sort of, you know, just be that like change and be that like step above, and you know, sort of go hard or go home sort of thing. And that was what this album was always going to be. So I've kind of kept that separate. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm still writing bloody love songs.
But you have love in your life, though. I mean, it's hard not to express that, you know, with your art.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, there was definitely a spike in like the love songs when I met my boyfriend, yeah, it's nice, you know. The last album was pretty dark, so it's nice to just have that genuine feeling of like, I feel like a lot of joy. I want to write about it. Yeah.
And also something I've heard you talk about, which I'm surprised because you've been a pretty private person for most of your career, talking about how much he's helped you through the process of finding fame and kind of regaining yourself, because you were starting to go down a bit of a dark path, from what I understand.
Yeah, I was, I suppose. I mean, I like to be honest about things because, you know, it shapes who I am and the album. And there was definitely a period, I think it's just before Burn came out, actually. And it was all a bit too much for me. And I'd never actually had like a number one song in the UK. And where I'm from, like when you're a musician, it's sort of like, it's not like America. It's a very small sort of world there. So, like, you know, it felt just like the biggest thing in the world, and it all just started, you know, really, everything was happening really quickly, and, you know, I'd always sort of had this steady thing. Like, I'd just come off tour with Bruno Mars, and you know, it was very steady, but it definitely came a time where it just all became a bit much, and I was just, you know, drinking and just like being reckless, and when I think back to that time now, I was a bit of a mess. And now now that I'm not, like, I can look back on it and be like, you know, but yeah, that was a strange time for me.
And speaking of Instagram, like, you're posting photos of flexing in front of the mirror, like, you're on the right path now.
I mean, I've always been like pretty fit, but like, yeah, definitely, I've definitely like training in the past couple of years has got a lot more intense, and like I'm, you know, getting stronger, and I used to be just into running, and now I'm just into like boxing and all sorts of stuff.
Are you listening to music, or are you just zoned out?
No, I do listen to music, but I work with trainers a lot more now, just because they're more motivational and they make me do more than I would if I was by myself. So no, I don't listen to a lot of music, but like I like going to like Barry's boot camp because some of the trainers are really passionate about the music, and they like time it all. So like they'll put on like, I don't know, like Jack U or like Skrillex or something, and like time it to like what they're gonna, you know, the sprints or the runs or whatever. And so you're like really pumped up.
Does that weird you out though when you're like, if like let's say you're at Barry's boot camp, you're listening to Skrillex, like, oh, I worked with that guy. Like, does it?
he's an. I was dated that guy.
Yeah.
He's my ex-boyfriend.
That's got to be weird
No,
for
it's
you.
not. It's not because we're still really good friends. And
If
like,
I went to
it's-
Barry's boot camp and my ex-girlfriend walked by the window, I would freak out.
I have a little moment of like fondness, you know, because
that's
like I'm
sweet.
very fond of him, and I'm very respectful of like everything he's. I don't know, respectful, is that the word? I have a lot of respect. Two different things of everything that he's achieved and the music, and so I do have like a moment like, oh, that's cool, you know.
Let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
The album. Do you have a name for the album yet?
Yes,
What's
it's called
the album?
Delirium.
Delirium.
Yeah.
And the countdown has begun. The first single's on my
Yes.
mind. We're gonna play the song. Can you kind of set it up for us, like as if you were taking our job for a moment? Like what? Give me something.
I mean, it's definitely a different sound to anything I've done so far. It's more sort of reminiscent of like when I've collaborated with people. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a song about having someone on your mind in the present. You know, something from your past that's resonating in the present. I don't know. It's like. I don't know. We've all been there. Like someone's on our mind that we can't, you know, that for some reason like you can't get them out of your head, and it's somebody from the past. That's kind of it. I don't know what else to say. It's quite hard to explain. I don't want to say like it's like a trap beat and it's like whatever, but like you know, it is what it is. But it's still very me, I think.
Are you ready for our constructive criticism?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I love it.
Thank God!
Ditto.
Thank God!
That is a hit record.
I thought you were going to say like, you know, I didn't expect this from you. I don't know, something like.
We were really disappointed. Never.
That must feel really good, though, when people receive your music the way we are and just fall in love with it.
God, yeah. Because, I mean, I've heard it. I've obviously been replaying it quite a lot, and we've been going back and forth with mixes and stuff, so I've heard it quite a few times, obviously. So, like, I guess I'd almost love to hear it again for the first time. Do you know what I mean? Like, to see
To
how
experience
I would
it the way
react.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first heard it, like, when I heard the first version, I was like, oh, God, this is quite special. Like, I was really excited about it.
Now, how much of an evolution did the song make from the first time you heard it to what we just heard?
Well,
Because you hear some artists, and the first version sounds
Yeah.
almost nothing like the final product. Once the producers get in there and then
Yeah.
they start changing a few things.
I mean, definitely sonically, I think, and like there's little tweaks in the mixes. That's very sort of Max Martin guys. They're very like specific about the records, and it's all very like, you know, programmed in and like. But then there's just like little things like they put in extra little vocals in there and back out again and back in again, and you know, there's like all these like little vocal effects that I love. Sort of like BVs, and they sort of came back in and back out, and then it was a finished thing, and like you know when it's finished, like it's really finished because they've just been good. It's like back and forth constantly.
There's almost no more work that can be done to it. At
Yeah,
that point.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect now. Yeah,
But when
obviously.
when you're working with someone like Max, do you kind of pull back a little bit and let him do his thing, or do you feel that you're getting a lot of input on your own as well?
I think when we first met, you know, we were probably a little bit more shy of each other, and you know, I was like, "This is Max Martin. I'm obviously not going to tell him what to do. Why would I? I'd be insane." And then, like as we went on with our, you know, in our working relationship, we've done quite a few more songs on the album together, and you know, he appreciates my opinion and respects my opinion on things, and like vice versa, and that's a good way to be. You don't want to just be like, whatever you want to do, like do whatever. You know, that's not me being the real artist that I am. So like, you know, I think he was very good at giving me the opportunity to like, you know, what did I think about stuff. So yeah, it was good.
And you've worked with a lot of people. At this point in your career, you've done work with Zedd, Calvin Harris, Max Martin, Skrillex.
Yeah.
Like, how do you pick somebody that you're going to work with next?
It's very clear to me if I want to work with someone. Like if I hear, like when I heard Odessa, do you guys know Odessa?
Yes.
Yeah. When I heard them for the first time, I was like, gotta work with them at some point. Just brilliant, really clever, unique electronic pop music. When I heard Skrillex for the first time, I was just like, that is so good. That is just like so clever. And
is that when you fell in love with him too? Like the first time, like his artistry, you're like,
yeah,
little heart
kind
bubbles
of.
came above your head.
I mean, like, obviously after we met and like we hung out as friends for quite a while, and then it just kind of happened from there. But No, I can tell straight away if I want to work with someone. Like when I first had Major Lazer, when I first heard Diplo produced tracks, I'm just like, that is such. I mean, if I was not British and uncool, I'd say dope or tight, but I can't. But I can't, so I'll just say, really good. Yeah, I know straight away. I can hear something and be like, got to work with that person. Or not even that, like, I've just got to meet that person and pick their brain and.
And sometimes it grows from there.
Yeah.
Ellie, you are amazing. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thanks,
excited. The
guys.
album will be out in November. I'll get that right eventually.
No. Boom.
Yep, whenever. The single, it's called On My Mind. We're in love with it. I hope you guys are too. Be sure you pick that up as soon as it's available. Ellie Goulding, thank you.